For June the 8th, 2018, we talk about Cultist Simulator, the Fallout 76 reveal, and we ask you for your E3 predictions, whether real or fake. Welcome to Level 244. My name is Kole Ross.
My name's David Maysmith.
I'm Jala.
And I'm Ben Merkel.
And you are listening to The Level. It's a podcast for people who love video games. Ben has informed us that he is eating some kind of seafood, non-differentiated, except by the source.
I'm going to provide no more details than that.
Oh, please don't. I don't want
all
to.
Seafood, isn't it kind of differentiated by the source? Chicken versus cow is differentiated by the source.
We all once came from the sea, and one day we shall return to the sea. So, in a way, ontologically,
isn't that a modest milestone?
Have we had the conversation somewhat related to that? Facebook now translates was it Rallian or whatever the Great Old One language is?
Oh, Aklo? Yeah. Does it translate it, or does it just recognize that something is written in Aklo?
It translates it in as much as it's algorithmic. So if you type one of the lines in the book that they then say what the translation is, it will correctly, when you click the little translate button, it will correctly show you the right translation.
It'll reference it, it'll pull it, so Dagon. Yeah. Yep. Okay. That's all that I know off the top of my head.
Dagon, pretty sweet.
Dagon, how about that fella? Oh man. So what's everybody been up to? I built an arcade stick.
Whoa,
that's cool.
Yeah, I ordered a kit.
What is this?
What is a arcade stick? Is that a special type of joystick, or?
Yeah, like a fight stick kind of thing. So I picked up a Raspberry Pi for the
nice.
Yeah, for the live show we did in Milwaukee to run a Game Boy game off of, because it would have been too expensive to get the game and a Super Game Boy, etc. So I got that, and I want to play around with it. I want to use it as a MAME machine as well. So Gary got this thing. It was from Etsy. It's like a 3D printed fight stick thing with a kit that has the buttons and the joystick and a place to fasten the Raspberry Pi inside of it. And yeah, it's like a satisfying clicky little plastic thing that you can play, arcade games with.
Yeah, there's a ton of really cool things you can get, to go with the Raspberry Pi. I mean, tons of different, sensors and, things like that, controllers and just all sorts of stuff. It's a very neat product.
Yeah, it was a fun little project. So just so we get the auditory delight in this, here's the joystick. Getting that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And here
are those buttons, or is that just the joystick moving around?
It's a nice clicky joystick. And then there's the buttons.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a nice bright orangish red. And the buttons light up when you plug it in.
I knew the moment that you said that it was clicky that we would be hearing it.
Yeah, actually, I ran across the house with my headphones still on, stretching them to their absolute limit so I could grab it and demonstrate. So that was one of my projects this past weekend, was wiring that bad boy up. It was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. How about you, Jala? It's been a while since you've been on.
Okay. Guys, okay, so I got my fitness nutrition specialist certification.
Congratulations.
As you guys, thank you. As you guys knew, within a month, I also got my personal trainer certification. So now I've got both of the two certifications I was out to get. And I've had a few inquiries about teaching online, and I wanted to let listeners know that it's in the works. So I still have some groundwork to do before I can do that. and I'm up and running, but I will let you all know when that is a thing.
Yeah.
So it is in process. I will be teaching a fitness at a time. So a fitness and a nutrition. So I did that.
Country and Western.
I also,
As a side note, I feel like, although I feel like you're taking the more high ground by getting the fitness dietitian, certification, I feel like America would be much more profitable to get the unfitness diet certification.
Yeah,
that seems to be
full,
what most people are interested in.
Go full Dr. Nick. If you rub it on a sheet of paper and it turns transparent, then it's okay to eat.
Well, I mean, you guys have to understand, too, that for my day job, I work in an office. And when I was teaching Taibo previously, I was mentoring a bunch of students who were people who just ate like, everybody else does in America. And so I would give them tips about how to cut calories here and there and things like that. And actually, I was asked by a listener to come on his show in a little bit here and talk about just some general fitness and nutrition tips. So like when that becomes a thing, I will let you guys know about that too. But yeah, like I'm experienced with having to adjust from a typical American diet.
Yeah.
I had to do that myself, actually, back in the day. That plus a Cuban diet. If you know what Cubans eat, then you know that was hard.
It's a bunch of cured meats.
I presume that they eat nothing but Cuban sandwiches.
And cigars.
Yeah, there you go. Well, anyway, a Texan Cuban, no less. So, like, I went from that to what I am now and how I look now versus where I was before. So, whatever floats your boat. But I mean, if you are interested in cleaning up your diet or cleaning up your fitness, I can do the thing to help you. I also participated in the Spartan Hurricane Heat 12 Hour. And you guys knew about that. You knew that I kept on telling you guys I may die. Well, I got 10 hours in when I had to medical out. The entire event was hauling sandbags over terrain. Sandbags weighing, I want to say it's like, 50 pounds each? So sandbags over terrain. We broke into teams and we built pallets and we carried even more sandbags on it up over obstacles, like vertical obstacles and through water and stuff for different miles. And during a solo timed part, when we had to carry 2 sandbags at the same time, my right arm, which is more strongly affected with the spinal stenosis that I have, just kind of gave out. My grip was gone and it started going numb, so I stopped. Even if I had enough time, it was a time part, so I didn't. But like if I had time, my ruck wasn't big enough to put a sandbag in to shift some of the weight to my hips, and so my kit was working against me too.
Yeah.
And I would not have just made it back in time, having to stop to adjust all of that. And by the way, that weight was about my own body weight between my ruck and the 2 sandbags.
Yeah. So you were carrying
that's
another Jala on your back.
And so except it's all on your shoulders or all on my shoulders / in my arm, which can't grip very well.
Yeah.
So the overall pass rate, though, okay, just to not to make myself sound like a wimp for only getting through 10 hours of it and stuff.
Only 10 hours.
Yeah,
okay.
only 10 hours of excruciating exercise.
I can barely stay awake for 10 hours straight.
Pass rate. Okay, the pass ratio for this, I want to say it was something around 50% or just shy of. And of my team of 5 people that all wanted to try for the endurance trifecta, only 2 people passed. The other 2 of my teammates who had to drop out like I did, they dropped out for different reasons. So, like everybody did their best and we trained for it. It's just we were a little bit shy for one reason or another. I had a medical reason and I just could not make up the time for it. Yeah. But my arm did last way longer than I thought it was going to last. And all of my prep for everything else was great. My overall endurance, my energy levels, my mental game, all that shit was on point. I handled all the rest of it just fine. Yeah. It's just my bag was too small and I need to work on my grip strength. And so more than an actual arm strength, that's even more so just the grip was lacking. So now I have to train that up. But I learned a lot and I do not feel bad for having done 10 hours of a very difficult event.
No,
So,
I mean, fuck's sake. Like, I joked about 10 hours, but that is still a very long time, and I don't know, it seems wise. I'm saying this like you need my, like, oh, pat on the back at a girl. No, but, like, taking care of yourself seems to make sense. Like, all that squares up. Still, it's an accomplishment.
As a fitness instructor, I always tell people to listen to your body. I tell people that constantly, and I do the same thing. I knew at that point when my arm was feeling the way it was, like I knew I was manageable up until that point, and then I was like, I can't recover this even if I find a way to get the weight off of this arm. You know, I can't make up that time. If there wasn't a solo part or a timed part, you know, if you know, I would have been able to do it. If it was all teamwork, it would have been fine. If I had a break, you know, just one, there wasn't really a break in the whole event. So, you know, if there was a break from doing all the heavy hauling to do something else for a while, I would have been all right. But because it had a solo part that was timed, and I have an injury, you know, like that's where that went. But I can the good news is I can train around it, do it again, and actually knock it out the next time. Yeah. So
is that the last one that you need for your trifecta?
The next one is a 30-mile plus obstacle course race, the Spartan Ultra, and so there's that. And I'm not going to be able to get the endurance trifecta because I cannot afford to go out of state to do that Hurricane Heat 12 hours. So although I'm going to be doing the Spartan Ultra because I already registered for it for this year, I'm not going to get my trifecta for this year. It just means I have to do it again next year.
Oh, okay. I was unclear on that. That it's not just
one calendar year.
It's not just having done all of them. It's you have to do them.
Yeah. In a calendar year. Yeah. So
makes sense.
But on that note, I started going to ruck training with Houston Rucking Club, and my trainer Duffy is not just a badass, but he's also a gamer. And he said he'd be checking out the show, so here's a shout out for him. If I ever don't make it to the next week, it's probably because he killed me during training.
Okay. Good to know. So, now we know who to call the cops on.
Yeah, right. But also, one more thing I did. So I also did a girly thing, guys. I haven't done that in a long time. And I performed at a summer belly dance showcase. And it was my first performance since last spring before everything blew up on me. And, you know, I had the cancer and all that stuff. And I was told by those who've seen me dance, you know, over time from the start that I've grown as a dancer, even though I had like a 6-month hiatus and I've been, you know, barely able to manage it with all the other stuff I have going on this year. And so it was very encouraging and very nice to hear that from everybody. And I uploaded some photos of my ensemble to Instagram and also a video that my friend Renee took to YouTube. I am Jala-chan in all the places if you want to go look for yourself. But also for you guys, I will drop into the Slack there. There. So there's the costuming and also the video.
Yeah.
So yeah.
As a side note, I couldn't 100% tell the Amazon did get there in time.
Oh yes, it did. That skirt that I'm wearing is the skirt that I had ordered because I was like, fuck wearing pants in this heat. It's 110 degrees in the sun right now. That's the heat index here in Houston for those who don't know. So I know we're inside, but then you've got a room we were standing room. We sold out. We had no chairs left and people were on the wall. It was that crowded. So, yeah. But anyway, it's a sexy piece. So like, don't pull up any of the stuff when you're at work probably because it's a little racy, so whatever. It's a Khan's Belly Dancer is the song or Bonanza. I don't know, it goes by either name. That's the song that we dance to. And yeah, I've got like a split skirt, so I'm showing a lot of leg, and it's a halter top, so you can see my back. So whatever. But it was nice to actually dress up like a girl and actually feel like a girl for once, because when I'm doing all this ruck stuff, I feel like so androgynous because, you know, it's equal opportunity. You're not treated differently just because you're a female. You do the same things everybody else is doing, which is great, except all I've been doing is training and going to events, and I haven't had a reason to dress up and go anywhere. So I haven't been girly at any point like this whole year so far. So yeah, it was nice. So
nice. Well, congratulations on all 3.
Thank you. I did stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. David, how about you? What's going on out there in fancy San Francisco?
Not really a whole hell of a lot, honestly. Mostly just been doing lots and lots of spring cleaning and organizing and those sorts of things, and then work. So
yeah, organizing is good. Takes a long time, though.
I did have a little bit of adventure. Some asshat decided to post up flyers for, apparently there's a Nazi running in the Republican primary here.
Okay.
And so I had a fun time helping
Are you about to say something you shouldn't have?
Deface them.
Okay, cool. I was about to say, did you do something illegal that I'm going to have to cut out? But no, you defaced a Nazi flyer. You're doing God's work.
The thing is that they actually glued the flyers to the various walls, so you couldn't just tear them down. So you had to cover them up.
Right. Cover them up with something different. My favorite hack is to turn a swastika into the Windows logo.
Fighting social commentary.
No.
I just find it in some ways, obviously in a lot of ways just horrifying, but also somewhat fascinating, in that there's kind of evolved this thing where apparently a lot of white supremacists have decide that Asian people are okay too, which explains why these things are going up in Chinatown.
I've seen that. Yeah, I didn't want to give too much information, but you live in a really ethnic area of town, so on the face that doesn't make sense. But yeah, that squares up with bullshit, nonsensical white supremacy that I've been aware of, because I cannot stop myself from poking at sores, I suppose. Yeah.
So,
well,
oh well. Such is life, I guess.
Well, congratulations to you too for defacing Nazi. Oh, Ben, you do anything for the cause?
No. I was going to try and make a pun of not seeing the Nazi ads, but the only thing, I don't have much going on. I have a friend coming in town this coming week to visit, so I've also been trying to do some spring cleaning. But not too much so. I played another game of Twilight Imperium this last Sunday.
Oh dang!
So we tried doing a 4-player game instead of a 5 or 6-player game to see if it would go quicker, and it actually did. But it was not as fun. So I think we're going to switch back to 5 or 6 people.
I think.
Hey Ben, did you see this thing that I posted in there? You probably didn't.
Did.
I just reposted it just in case you missed it. Yeah. So,
unfortunately, well, I don't know. Fortunately or unfortunately, my parents were never big into board games. I somehow fell into that by myself.
Mm.
Yeah, I had posted a link to a comic that's about a parent of a normal person who has a Parcheesi board, and then a parent of a nerd, parent who has Twilight Imperium and is trying to give all these details of rules to their little kid when they're trying to teach them how to play it. So
nice. No alliances with your father.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, we've been busy. So,
yeah.
I want to get into the get into
Please.
the show here.
Show proper. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do this. Man, we record at such an awkward time of the week too, because next week we're going to talk about, I think, everything in E3 except for Sony, and Sony's press conference is going to happen while we record the show. So,
yeah.
Awkward. Anyway, why don't we get started with the usual kind of show here, the brief, or with the brief, the multiplier, and the grind. And we'll get started with The Brief, where we talk about things that are happening in the world of video games around us. Let me pull up here. Jala, what is up with this toy?
Yeah, me and Ben will be talking about this one. And so, Ben, you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, I just want to talk about the announcement in general.
Okay, well then I'll talk about what happened, and then you can talk about the announcement. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Troy go rogue?
So, anyway, no. So, ahead of E3, Bethesda trolled the hell out of the fan base by streaming a Vault Boy figurine standing in front of a screen that says "Please stand by" for 24 hours straight. And the stream had over 100,000 people watching at any given time, a total of 15 million total views and 2 million unique users watching during that time frame. And every once in a while, somebody would show up and pop balloons or do a puppet show or something, but otherwise nothing was happening. It was just like this figure in a "Please stand by" screen for 4 hours.
I would love to see the chat graph of that. Just like
I know, and at the very end of the stream, Todd Howard showed up and said, "We have had over 2 million unique visitors to the stream to watch I don't know what, nothing." And then he walked off. And then after that, they dropped a 1.5-minute Fallout 76 trailer, and that was it. And then it was over. And so, Ben, you can take it from here.
Yeah, so I guess they're probably going to fill in more details, but this is like an announcement of the next Fallout game. I don't know if they've set a release date or not, but I guess the news of it is which vault it takes place in, and so that kind of sets I guess that sets the scenery of the game, I guess. It's Vault 76, which takes place in the Capital Wasteland. And the description of the vault is that it was a control vault that was intended to open and recolonize the surface after 20 years. So that's kind of like, so I guess we're going back to like Fallout 3 proper. Yeah. Damn. The trailer itself doesn't really show too much. It just shows a lot of like empty vault and like things like the figure like on desk and stuff like that. It seems very reminiscent of Fallout 3, the vault settings there.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought at least some of the stuff I read suggested that, or it seemed to suggest that a significant portion of the game may take place in the vault.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing that I read, that it was about what happens inside the vault. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't know.
Who knows if that's accurate? We're going to find out more. Bethesda has a press conference, I think, on Sunday night coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm still going to take a firm stand of, but it's not Obsidian.
Yeah, that's a reasonable stand to take, unless that is part of the surprise announcement. Like, we know next to nothing about this.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, whatever it is, it better be good, because there's a lot of people who are pretty pissed about that stream. So
I think if Bethesda just, like, I don't know, cleaned the sign off on the outside of their building, there would be a ton of people who just got really, really upset at them.
That's very true.
Yeah. People just like to be upset about Bethesda. Yeah.
Also, didn't they do this before?
I have no recollection.
I thought they did more or less the same thing for Fallout 4.
No idea. Can't remember. Yeah.
Go back to the archives.
I think that people just like to be upset, period. You can add any qualifier to that you like, as in at Bethesda.
Yeah.
So
I mean, isn't that more or less what, like... Yeah, that's just more or less America right now, right?
This is America. Yeah.
So one happy accident out of this is it made me go to the Fallout like Wikipedia page or whatever, and it has like descriptions over each of the vaults of like what's known about it so far from like what's been dropped from different games.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And it's interesting to see there's like gaps and stuff. So like there's stuff for 75 and 76, but then there's a gap between that and like 70. So yeah.
Yeah, that was part of when Chris Avallone put out like basically the design Bible for Fallout. That included just like a bunch of vault numbers and like the gimmick of that vault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it like that. Cool. That is genuinely a cool piece of cool thing to read. Yep.
So he has founded the entire series of Fallout now.
They've deviated from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be exciting. I look forward to more details of what the game actually is. Yeah. I've got one that is a little bit of a bummer, a little bit depressing. Not really, but you know what I mean. So you remember those games that Square put out for mobile, things like Hitman Go, Tomb Raider Go, I think, and then Deus Ex Go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the fun like turn-based kind of board game style things of their big franchises. Well, they've pretty much come out and said and confirmed for PC Games Insider that we're not making any more of those. And the stated reason, here's a quote: "It's one of the challenges we have today is the premium mobile market is diminishing. You've got more and more high quality free titles, so there are even fewer and fewer people inclined to try something that will not be free." So this is a saw that we have hit every few weeks, or we've been mowing this quite a bit, but here is an actual data point of a studio deciding to call it quits on making quite good games because of the just kind of
how the market is,
right, of the bullshit of the specifically mobile game market. So despite how lauded each of those games were, specifically the first two, Hitman and Tomb Raider, how many awards they got, how much they sold, it's just kind of like, can't do it, can't do anymore. Later.
It just all comes down to the one overriding truth: people are awful.
There's one takeaway about this episode.
Yep. Move to the mountains, grow your own corn. So yeah, I don't know what more there is to say about it, but it makes me want to go back because there is stuff from Hitman Go that I still haven't beaten. So I guess that is my takeaway.
I mean, it's kind of interesting. Like, I mean, it is just like, I do feel like it's harder to make like an as immersive an experience with on a mobile device as it is like a console. True. But I don't know. Do you guys feel that way too, or?
Yup.
Just doing different stuff.
Yeah. It just really depends because, I mean, there's a lot of immersive games that were on console that have been ported over to mobile and work just fine. It's not a matter of capacity. It's just a matter of, like, how much money people are going to put into making it solely for mobile, Like, they're not going to put that much effort in just to put it on mobile. They're going to put that much effort in to reach a wider audience than what plays on just a phone.
I've seen arguments that $3 is too much money to pay for a game on a phone. I will not sit here and presume to understand what $3 means for each individual person's life. That would be a dick thing to do. However, I think that argument doesn't ring extremely true for me when talking about kind of the way things ought to be in general.
Yeah, I just feel that that touchscreen is quite possibly the worst control scheme ever invented.
Well, see, except when you're playing like an adventure game, like my first experience with Leviathan: The Last Day of the Decade, which is one of my absolute favorite visual novels, / adventure games. That's actually kind of half adventure game, half Visinov. That one I played on mobile, and it was released on mobile first, and then ported over to Steam after that. And that's a really good game. So, I mean, that's really immersive. Enough that I interviewed the devs that one time and, became like a primo supporter and actually worked to help them with the game with some text work, some translation, localization stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, it is a control scheme that is not well suited to many kinds of gameplay, but the ones that it is.
Although, I also like the Lone Wolf remastered or whatever it was called. That originally it was on mobile as well, and that was a really fun series of game. And that one also had the same swiping whatever control scheme, and it was perfectly fine. It had action sections where you had to fight. Mm-hmm. And that was more awkward with a mouse and keyboard because it was really obviously made for mobile first. Yeah. And, that was a fun game, and I liked that. And then we can talk about Sorcery in 80 Days. I mean, like, those are fun and immersive. And anyway.
Yeah. No,
argument. Okay.
It is very hard to make a broad sweeping statement that accounts for what's happening outside of the price argument.
It is interesting that the price is correlated with the size of the screen that you play it on. Like, video games are more expensive than PC, which is more expensive than mobile.
That is so ridiculous.
We should just start making games that can only be played in movie theaters.
Yep. Yeah.
Hey, they tried that, remember? The interactive movie scene? We had like several briefs about that because I started talking about that, and it became an ongoing stream of consciousness for me for a while.
Oh, man. Hey, David, you got a story?
Yeah, so there's actually been a interesting announcement in the whole loot crate kind of controversy that's been simmering down back and forth. So several places have implemented legislation banning the selling of loot crates in games. And however, this week Trump issued a executive order that overruled those bans. He said, quote, "I want to make America great again."
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God.
All right, and we're going to cut on that. So
Multiplayer.
now it is time for the multiplayer, where we ask you a question and then you answer it. Jala, what is the question that you asked the nice people?
Yeah, I asked, what's your personal E3 prediction? Your answer can be real or fake at your discretion.
I love the idea of a fake prediction.
Well, I mean, blown out of the water, hyperbole, sarcasm, bitterness, like whatever you wish to channel at the time, or if you're being serious, whatever floats your boat.
No, what's fun, like as written, it is an absurdity, but also I understand exactly what you mean and why you phrased it that way. Mm-hmm. So, I'll get us started here with Lindsay, who says, I haven't kept up with games lately, but I would imagine a Mario game Labo style. That'd be fun.
How would it work? Well, that's, I guess, the real crux of the question there. That's the real...
Okay.
That's what
you build a cardboard box that you just punch repeatedly.
Yeah. And you get a coin for every punch.
You know what?
It's a pay-to-play game.
They do that on the side of the road whenever you have a marathon. There's always people who have a box, like for coins and stuff, and they also have one for like stars, and you can get a power up. It's like, punch power up into, whatever. Anyway, sorry.
That's fine.
That's a thing. That's a thing.
I noticed that when I did the run in May, somebody had a sign like that, a poster, slap the poster for a power up.
Yeah. So.
See, am I the only one that whenever I hear Labo, I think of the DC Comics villain Lobo?
Well,
Yes.
You want to know what I think about? I think about, like, female parts.
Yeah, I think about. I definitely think about Labia.
Yeah, so I'm like, that's real bad, Nintendo.
Yeah, like I like my Labo an awful lot. It was a very fun toy to put together, but I cannot hear that name without thinking about Labia. So,
Yeah. So that's a thing.
Yeah. Ben, what does Douglas say?
Douglas says, I have been waiting for Borderlands 3 for so long, I can't wait for it to be out.
Makes sense. Gearbox hasn't announced anything.
Yeah.
David, what does Rob say?
Rob says, more info about the recently released Fallout 76, which will be very polarizing among the fan base. Based on current gaming trends, we can assume it'll be a battle royale game.
Oh, you didn't finish that.
LOL.
Lol.
Oh, LOL. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh man, a battle royale game set inside the vault. Who knows?
Yeah.
I actually think that's probably pretty likely. Like, I'm not saying that I'm going to say, like, that's what I think it's going to be, but that wouldn't surprise me.
The fact that it's not a strictly it's not a okay, so it's a numbered title. This is a very tortured sentence. The fact that it is not a numbered title, even though there's a number in the title, means anything can happen.
Can that be the title of the episode?
Yep.
All right. Cool.
All 500 characters
I
of
figured
it.
we can just take that precedent and be like, this is level number, 400.
Yeah.
400.
We made it, guys.
Nothing matters. Make it as confusing as possible for people to go through the archives. Jala, what does
I always
Adam...
figured if I ever started a band, I would want my very first album just released as a greatest hits album just to mess with people.
Is that what Aphex Twin did?
I maybe.
Selected ambient works, whatever. Anyway.
Jala, what does
If
Adam
so,
say?
I salute them.
Damn it, David!
You keep on talking over us. Jala, what does Adam say?
Adam says, Metal Gear Solid remake, please. And how about the Monster Hunter Palico Cat added to the new Smash Bros?
I had to file through my my Rolodex here. There is a Capcom character in Smash Brothers. Mega Man is in there, so it could happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But wouldn't a game with a Palico have to be on a Nintendo system?
I mean, before, weren't they, like, all for a while?
I mean, like, for a long time, they were all, like, up until Brawl, they were all Nintendo creations or Nintendo published creations.
Snake was one of them, and he wasn't on a Nintendo game.
Yeah, it was. Twin Snakes.
Oh.
For the GameCube.
What about all of the mobile titles? There are a bunch of Monster Hunter games for the 3DS and stuff.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm more thinking, like, in addition to that being amazing, a Monster Hunter stage would then be amazing.
That would be good. Just on the back of a moving dino.
Yay!
Yep.
Yeah. Mike says, I have two predictions. And these are quotes. First is, the publishers and developers have heard you. Applause. Raucous. Woo! Also, this year, it's all about the games.
See, I feel like the problem with the first one is all they're saying is they've heard us. They haven't said they're going to actually listen.
Yep.
That's the point. That's the point.
Yeah.
Also, the sun is going to rise in the east, he adds.
Yes. I love those cliches because you can just feel the writers giving up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their spirit has died.
Ben, what does Jonathan say?
Jonathan says, Kojima will troll everyone again. And I think this was going to be my prediction as well. Is there's going to be a Death Stranding trailer, and nobody's going to know how to interpret it.
Yep.
Didn't,
string
what's
people
his
along.
name? The guy that's the main character say he currently has no idea what Death Stranding is about?
Yeah, I think both Norman Reedus and Mads Mikkelsen have said, like, fuck if I know. So, yeah. David, what does Justin say?
Justin says, probably a bunch of MOBAs and survival games. Or is it class-based shooters now? What's that? It's Battle Royale this year. And I'm getting... Oh, I'm sorry. What's that? It's Battle Royale this year? I'm getting too old to keep up with multiplayer gaming trends? Cool.
Yeah. Yep, everything will be Battle Royale. It'll be fine. Hey, kids, have
Yeah,
you heard
right.
about Fortnite?
Yeah, Fortnite, everyone.
Man.
I would like to point out that I played Fortnite before it was cool.
Yeah, I was about to say, remember when Fortnite
Hipster.
was this like weird, sad game that never went anywhere like a year ago?
Then they just copied the most popular game, and it was great.
Yeah. I'm sure Public G definitely is not salty about that whatsoever.
And it's definitely not taking legal action for it.
Sure. Jala, what does Michael say?
Michael says, I'm expecting a very short, very vague teaser for the PS5, followed by a rightfully upset crowd.
Why would they be upset? It's been 5 years.
Because it'd be a short and vague teaser with,
okay.
like, no fucking information. That's why.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry. I accidentally read the next one before I read it out loud. I'm very happy that I did, so I didn't laugh. Out of nowhere. Sam writes, more Norman Reedus Mpreg, of course. So that requires context. Norman Reedus, again, like the actor who plays the main character of Death Stranding. Mpreg standing for male impregnation in the online fetish. And so, like, that's literally just what happened in the Death Stranding trailer the first time. But just categorizing it as Mpreg is very, very funny.
Yes, it took all of your concentration to get that sentence out.
Oh, and I didn't even get the sentence out. I had to stop like 5 times.
I know. That's great. But you managed to eventually get it out. That's good on you.
Yeah, we all have our hills to conquer.
Attaboy.
I think I further predict that this trailer is going to show the baby inside of Norman Reedus, and you're going to go inside the baby and then see Norman Reedus.
Oh, jeez.
We need to go deeper.
Babies having babies who are in turn having having that second baby. What? So
that's about, yeah. Okay.
Ben, what does Eric say?
Eric says, hoping for some From content. I think there was a leak for Bloodborne 2, but I mean something totally new. Maybe Shadows Die Twice will be revealed as a Kuon successor, as rumored.
I don't know. I just hope it's not Bloodborne 2. I really hope it's not Bloodborne 2.
Because you'll have to resurrect the podcast?
No. I just want them to make something different.
Oh.
I don't even want them to do a Kuon revival. I just want them to make something new. God damn it. Yeah. We're gonna hear something about it though. And it's gonna be Bloodborne 2, and
I could see a modern Souls game. That would be interesting.
They had
the Live Souls.
Yeah, ooh. See what happened before those souls were dead. Wait, Dead Souls is a different thing. David, what does Bill say?
Bill says, Shadows Die Twice will be to Bloodborne, what Dark Souls was to Demon Souls. Much as I want it to be Bloodborne 2, I don't find it very likely, based on a totally scientific gut feeling. Whatever it ends up being, I'm cautiously optimistic regarding From and Bethesda's announcements. Also, if Fallout 76 has a multiplayer component, I hope it can still be played offline/single player. Finally, a sequel to Doom 2016 would be amazing.
Word.
Give it to us, you cowards.
I feel like gut feelings are entirely appropriate for Bloodborne.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? But I want Bethesda to announce Doom 2019. Please. Can it happen? Please?
What about Doom 2018?
I don't know. I think that's ambitious.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be nice. I'd take it, but
Doom right now.
Doom, look under your chair. Jala, what does Jack say?
Jack says, Microsoft announces backwards compatibility with the Atari Jaguar.
So people can finally play that supposedly really good Alien vs. Predator game. Yeah. Or Atari Jaguar Retro Mini. Cashing in on. Yeah. Do you guys see that Atari 2600 like Indiegogo or Kickstarter reached like $3 million or something like that? For a $300 Atari Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Was it made out of wood?
It had a wood front on it.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that's the one. Remember when I talked about that during the brief? Yep.
There we go. Sean writes, Kingdom Hearts 3 is delayed until 2030, but 400 more filler games are announced.
That was totally like mine.
Yeah.
I figured that would be the thing. It'd be, yeah. Mm-hmm. Good job.
Yep.
I love the next one for sure.
Ben, what does Franz say?
Franz says, unfortunately, 2019 will be postponed to 2020. To make up for it, 2020 will be backwards compatible.
That is very good.
That's great.
I like that quite a bit.
Yes.
How long
what's that?
Has Franz been a Cthulhuoid instead of, was he a fish person for a long time? Yes.
Maybe. I don't know.
Sorry.
You're not supposed to
random
know.
Things that distract me.
That'll be next week's question.
Yes. They could be very easily answered by this person who very kindly listens to our show.
You can just click on follow it and just look and see when he uploaded that picture. Bam, answer.
Yeah. David, what does Corbin say?
Corbin says, I'm sorry, I navigated away too. I was distracted by Cthulhuoids. Corbin says, we're going to figure out what kind of game Death Stranding actually is.
Hey, he's
That's-
going in the opposite direction.
That-
We will actually get information this time
Yeah.
instead of we're going to get more BS. So
Yep.
I don't
Cool.
know. I feel like with Kojima games, having more information sometimes just makes things worse.
Yeah. The more that picture gets in focus. Yeah.
yeah.
See, Jala, what does David say?
David says Switch focuses on games coming out in the back half of 2018. PlayStation focuses on games coming out in the back half of 2020. Xbox does a thing and keeps trotting along like it has all gen.
Yeah. I'm not looking for okay. So because I'm not looking forward to it, it is very easy for me not to watch it. But I don't have no idea how I'm going to get through the Microsoft press conference. Like it's just going to be a bunch
Yeah.
of sales figures.
You just need to do what all the what is it, social influencers do, and you hire a, what do they call them, like a electronic assistant or whatever to watch it for you.
Yeah. Like realistically, I will have it on in the background while I clean the house because it'll be on a Sunday. So
I don't ever watch this crap. I totally
Yeah.
just look at summaries because I have no patience.
yeah,
So-
well, I'm a dipshit who kind of likes the pageantry. So
You don't have to be a dipshit to like pageantry, please.
well, no,
Stop being diminutive to yourself.
No, they're separate things. I am a dipshit, and also I like pageantry.
Stop being diminutive. I smack you. You know I will run after you and kill you.
I know. You've done it
Yes.
before.
And then shimmy in your general direction.
Austin says, From announces Dark Souls 4, which is just a series of harder and harder Capper Demon boss fights. Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I would joke, except then I realized how deep I am in the Chalice dungeon, which is kind of that.
A lot. From announces Dark Souls 4. That's right, we're back, baby. And if you thought the Ring City was too easy, well, have we got news for you? Let's see, that was me. Ben, what does Marasan say?
Marasan says Nintendo 64 Classic Edition announced, but all of the games are Daikatana?
Yeah. The infamously bad first-person shooter developed by John Romero of Doom fame. Yeah. There is going to be... Good.
Sorry, I just read the last one.
It's a very
closer.
good capper.
Yes.
There is going to be an N64 classic, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think that's where I will jump into the classic consoles.
Mhm.
Classic mini consoles.
Yeah. I like my little bite-sized SNES.
We should predict what the games are going to be on it. Okay.
And then David, finish us out with what Jonathan says.
Jonathan says, I will be disappointed.
Yeah.
It's a very good one to end on, yeah. We do this to ourselves every year. For mine, I think that Square is going to get up there and talk about the Final Fantasy VII remake. I think it is definitely going to slip to the next generation, whatever is after PS4. And they're going to go way out of their way to set the expectation that it's going to be released in multiple parts as full price games.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see all of that happening.
Yeah.
Yes.
It'll be in 7 parts.
Yeah, right?
One for each of the Final Fantasies. Ben, what's your prediction?
I think I mentioned it before. I think they'll just show another Death Stranding trailer, and it'll be equally cryptic as all the other ones.
Yeah.
But also really cool too.
Yeah. Well, stylish as all fuck. Yeah. David.
I think they're going to announce E4.
Hey guys, we had our next E.
Honestly,
Finally, they added an E.
Yeah.
not at all trying to be snarky, but I'm kind of in the camp of like, I don't care. Like,
Yeah, that's fine.
Me too.
I don't know. I feel like the industry, particularly like the AAA industry as a whole, has apparently decided I'm not their target market. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Well, I just never play anything when it's new, and every single time E3 comes up, I always say this. So like, this is not. I'm just repeating myself here, but yeah, I never play anything when it's new anyway, with very, very few exceptions. Like, I bought Dishonored 2 right when it came out, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But like, it's rare.
That is a reasonable and acceptable response if you need permission to feel that. Like,
well, especially since even if I buy a brand new game, the likelihood that I will play it when it is still new is still a questionable thing, because when I open up any given game system, I don't know what I'm going to play.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nobody else knows. Even if I tell you I anticipate playing this game next, I may or may not actually do it. So.
Yeah.
Jala is neither early or late. She plays a game exactly when she intends to.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly.
I was going to say it was
got
Jala's
nothing to do
uncertainty
with it.
principle.
Yeah. So like real talk though, like outside of all of that, outside of like the well-earned skepticism about all this stuff, the two events that I actually like am legit looking forward to that are probably going to be like lit are the Devolver Digital event on Sunday, and then the PC gaming show on Monday.
I just don't know, like, what does Devolver Digital, like, what are they?
They're like a publisher for indie things. I know that is a contradiction in terms, but like,
well,
if you,
I guess I mean more just, it seems like I'll see games that are like amazing, and it's like published by Devolver Digital, and then I'll see games that are just straight shovelware, and it's also published by them.
Their hit rate is really high.
See, yeah. I don't know. I feel like they're the Nicolas Cage of like game publishing, in that there's definitely some really good stuff, but there's also some stuff that you just look at and say, why? Also, they probably own a dinosaur skeleton.
I mean, as a matter of course, I think you have to have one of those to get licensed wherever they are based at. Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for writing in. If you want to participate in these, go to the Level Podcast. Go to facebook.com/the Level Podcast. The questions or prompts or responses go up on Monday afternoons. Thanks to Dennis and Jala for heading that up, both of you.
Monday mornings if it's Jala.
Yes. Monday afternoon or early evening if it's Dennis.
The grind.
Now it is time for the grind, where we talk about the things we have been playing over the past, period of time or so. Jala, it has been a little while since you have been on, so I will throw to you first.
Okay, so I played a tiny bit more of Corpse Party Blood Drive, and actually, Cole, you have kind of scarred me inadvertently to where I set this game down and I haven't gotten back to it, and it'll be probably a little while before I do. And here's why. Here's why.
All right.
Now, there are spirits constantly following me around, and they're really fast. And I ran into a closet to hide, and the ghost passed, but then it respawned again in a really bad place and killed me a couple of times. Mm-hmm. And maybe because I've been scared watching you go through White Day with this fucking janitor, I just turned that shit off, and I went to a different game. I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. Nope. So that has been my most recent experience with Corpse Party. I got a little bit further in the story, and then when they started throwing ghosts that are constantly following me around, now, like, it is my understanding, because I went and I looked it up because I wanted to know if my stress levels were going to get to like Vita throwing level or what, that they will not, it's not every single chapter hereafter. It's just certain chapters. And this one happens to be one of the ones where you have a minimum of one ghost at all times following you around.
Okay.
But they're as fast or faster than you are.
And
they respawn immediately, and it's like, oh, not nice. So yeah, that's why I set it down. I saw enough of, like, I had enough stress, like ambient stress, just by osmosis watching you play White Day, that I was just like, I'm not even gonna do this. So I moved on.
Wait a minute. So were you scared of the pursuit, or were you just really annoyed?
I was just like, I'm gonna get mad
Right,
keep,
right.
I'm going to get mad if I do this. And unlike Kole, you have the patience of Job compared to me. I have no patience for this shit whatsoever. I'm like, I'm going to put my fist through a wall before I continue this game. I'm going to set it down right now because I'm not about to damage something.
I'm fixing to wreck it.
Nope, I am. Seriously. So it's like, okay, nope. So I moved from that to a game called My Name is Mayo.
Okay.
I remembered something when I was listening to the Abject Suffering episode about I Am a Tree. I played a clicker game called My Name is Mayo.
Okay.
I've never played a clicker game in my life, so I wanted to know what the deal was with clicker games. And I will say this, I still do not understand the compulsion. I get that you click forever, and then a chime sounds, and then a thing pops up on the screen, and that's great for someone who gets excited by those things, but it's not fun.
Right.
So, and for me, okay, like I understand you don't have to play a game to have fun necessarily. You can have it for catharsis or any number of other reasons. And I guess in this case, it would be like equivalent to grinding, right? Where you do it to zone out.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I just don't get it.
So I'd like to describe this because there are multiple different kinds of clickers.
There's a jar of mayo, and you click on it. And sometimes there are random snippets of a disjointed storyline that unlock, after which point the Mayo wears a costume pertaining to the story until the next story bit, like it might be wearing a mustache and a hat, or it might be wearing a bikini. And then you're clicking on a bikini Mayo jar until the next part of the story comes up, and then something else happens to the Mayo.
So like literally all progress is made by clicking on this. You are just clicking until you see the next thing.
Yes.
Okay, that is not the definition of a clicker that I work under.
Okay, good. Well, then I don't know what the hell this was, but in the end, I got nothing else. I just remembered that it was a thing that I did because you were going off about disliking mayonnaise.
Right. Okay, I forgot about that.
And so it reminded me about My Name is Mayo. So.
Huh.
that is the weird path that I went to get to playing this very strange thing that existed on my Vita.
Were any of
the consciousness?
Right.
Were any of the disjointed storylets entertaining?
They made no sense to me.
Okay.
Like the rest of the thing made no sense. So I didn't have any fun doing this at all. But I was like, surely at some point something's going to click, and I would understand what's going on, or, I would figure out what's so exciting about this, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And then that was the end of that. So I don't know. That was an experience that I had.
Yeah. Like
I wasn't mad at it. I just didn't understand what was exciting about it. But
for sure,
I don't know.
It's so like the canonical clicker would be something like Candy Box.
That is.
It's like a web based thing, or like a dark room is a clicker. But like you only click for the first part of it until you get enough of an initial investment to like automate some of the clicking, and then you're checking back in and then like re-rolling whatever you get in to find more ways to get whatever currency you're operating to get.
Kind of like those, what is it, like investor game type things where you click to get money and then you build a lemonade stand or something. That
right.
kind of a thing.
Yeah, like Adventure Capitalist is another one that is like really.
That's the thing I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know. Well, this was an experience that I had. My name is Mayo. I would not recommend it because I don't understand what just happened. But anyway.
It's called My Name is Mayo. I hate it.
Yes. I don't hate it. I have no feelings about it at all. I don't know. So, okay, I'll move on now. This is a game that I was really, really excited about. So I'm very happy to talk about this one. It was a recommend by Chris Schlee. So thank you, Chris. I loved it, and I want to go back and spend more time with it. And it is Open Sorcery. It was released on iOS and Android first. Here's another one of those experiences that started on the phone here. Okay, anyway. With an expanded version that was released to Steam in 2017. It was developed by Abigail Corfin in the Twine engine. So it is a text-based game where you take the role of a fire elemental that is bound in C++ as Open Sorcery, a network firewall. and the story centers around
That sounds
your
pretty
choices.
accurate.
Well, the story centers around your choices and whether you achieve self-awareness. And the game takes place in a cyberpunk world where there's magic and technology overlapping. Like, people use spells, and like they have defense grids that have crystals and stuff on them, but then they also have like a fire elemental bound in code as their network firewall. Haha.
Gibson style.
Yeah, so anyway, you defend your network, which includes a school, a rest home, and then the 2 homes of your creators from different things like poltergeists, otherworldly catastrophes, and malware. I mean, there's even, malware included in that. And the story follows the development of Bells, which is you, and the lives of the people in the network. A keyword that you say very often, so like if you play this, you will see it a lot. I am the fire that protects. And the gameplay is very investigative in nature, and it involves picking up clues as to what is threatening your network. The matter and the motive are the 2 things that you're looking for. Matter being like, is it earth, air, fire, darkness, light, love, whatever, fear. And then the motive, like, what does it do? It causes chaos. It causes death. It causes life, those kinds of things. And you pick up clues as to what it is, what the matter and the motive are, from what's going on in the environments themselves. Like a gust of wind is blowing papers off the desk, so that indicates that it's an air spirit. Or Decker can't find something, which means that it's chaos, mixing stuff up. Or Toby's staring wide-eyed at his closet in the middle of the night, totally terrified, so that's a fear creature. That kind of a thing. And you have to search for the threat. And once you properly identify that threat, then you can choose how you handle it. And that's the way that you develop your awareness. You can potentially learn new behaviors from spirits and programs by how you interact with them. Or, of course, if you just, do like burn it up, which is your default thing to do, or notify your creators, then you don't do any growing, basically, because you're just acting as a program. You're not, engaging with each of these things, because you have the option to talk to every one of them. And of course, I always pick the role-playing option. So there you go. The writing is absolutely charming, and parts of it are totally heartrending for me because of my family situation, because there is a rest home involved. Right. But some tidbits of the dialogue that I really loved. Mrs. Such and Such has existed for another year, and I just don't remember the name of the character. It is an accomplishment, and there is cake, and this is like at the rest home.
Right.
Human error messages is a way that they refer to cursing. He is emitting human error messages and blah, blah, blah.
That's pretty good.
She uses a physical password, aka a key, to get into the apartment.
Yeah. So it's like that writing exercise where like you write as though you're Martian.
My absolute favorite. You are logging excessively with no additional information. That one was my favorite.
that one's applicable. That's good.
Yeah. No, I love it. So, yeah. And I don't want to reveal too much of the story, but this game is definitely worth a player 3, and it's only $3.99 regular price on Steam. So I also streamed an entire playthrough at random, as I always do, because I don't even know what ever is going to happen. Mm-hmm. So the archive is on YouTube, and I put a link in the thing so you can put it in the show notes if people want, or they can just go to YouTube and look up Jala-chan. That is my username. Mm-hmm. You can see me dance with my belly and also play open sorcery on that. So yes, that is a very awesome game, and I enjoy it, and I want to spend more time with it because I definitely haven't seen everything to it yet.
Yeah.
So
sounds like I mean, not from a play point of view, but like a text-based transistor almost, at least in theme.
Yeah. It's kind of, it has that kind of a vibe to it. And it was funny because one of the people who was watching the stream said that because it's all text-based and I'm reading it out loud, he said it was kind of like watching Gary's Choose Your Illusion stream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it's, me picking a choice of action. It's a choose your own adventure, essentially, with some parts that, are a little bit more intense and time-focused. So
nice. It's a
cool.
formula that works.
Yeah, very good.
Cool. Well, I'm happy you're like way into it.
Oh yeah, and then not only that, the people who were playing it or watching me play it, rather on the stream, at least one or two of them actually went and picked it up afterwards.
Nice.
Because they liked it that much. So yeah.
And cool. so this stream that you did is an hour and 15 minutes. How many playthroughs did you get?
One.
One.
I did one playthrough.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Twine games too. They're almost always designed to be approached multiple different ways. So nice.
Yep.
Open sorcery. Definitely
Yeah.
a joke that I made in a script that I wrote for the company I used to work for before I knew this game was a thing.
It's cool. You would dig it, for real.
Yeah.
You need to play it.
I
you
will have
specifically cool.
I will have to grab that on iOS, where I will be more prone to play a game like that.
Indeed.
Cool.
So I did play something else, but I don't know how we are on time, so I don't want to throw it out there yet unless you want me to.
Let's go nuts. I don't have that much to talk about.
Okay, cool. So I also played a game called Mind Zero. This is a PS Vita dungeon crawler crossed with a Vizinov, and it's been compared in several ways to Persona and to a lesser extent to Etrian Odyssey, and you'll see why when I talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah. We should clarify, when you say Vizinov, you mean like a visual novel.
Visual novel, yes. Yeah. That's sorry.
No, it's fine.
It's my way. It's my mode of talking. I know not everybody knows that yet, but okay. So it was developed jointly by Acquire and Zero Div and was released by Axis Games in America in 2014. So it's a few years old. It's not the oldest game I've picked up randomly. Basically, there are two worlds, the inner realm and the outer realm, and we live in the outer realm, and these creatures called minds live in a parallel world called the inner realm. And there are mirrors of every person living, in the outer realm, inside the inner realm, that are minds. So there is one mind for every person, and they are mirrors of each other. Mm-hmm. So when a person faces a crisis, they are confronted with a door that only they can see, and then when they go inside, they end up in this weapon shop, where there is a lady with big boobs and wearing a blindfold that calls herself the Undertaker, and she tells them to select a weapon, and they only get one, and they only have one chance, and if they choose incorrectly, they will die. And if they choose correctly, they end up merging with a mind and can speak to it telepathically and wield its power.
So literally almost exactly like a Persona.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That is why it's like, yeah, this is pretty much like a rip. Mm-hmm. So sometimes the minds go berserk on the people, and then the person merges with the mind. Like if they fail and they pick the wrong weapon, then I think they just go nuts and get taken over by a mind, and they go crazy. And then the cops end up dealing with them in the outer realm. And the cops, on that note, know about minds, but they think that it's like that they think that mind is a drug. Okay. And that it's a drug that's making people crazy. So anyway, like the premise is that there's a private eye and a group of high schoolers who all end up deciding to learn what the hell minds are and to fight against evildoers that have minds and rescue people who get lost in the inner realm and things like that. And the story is definitely not like its strong suit, and the characters are not its strong suit. And as I keep talking about it, you'll see why I probably am not going to continue playing too much longer. Okay. The dungeon layouts themselves are actually fun puzzles with conveyors and different levels that have multiple stairways that skip floors. Like if you're on floor 2, there might on floor 1 there would be a stairway to floor 6, and then somewhere else also a stairway to floor 2. And then if you go to level 3, there's like a stairway to level 5, and on level 2 there's a stairway to level 6 and also one to level 3. It's weird like that. And then there's conveyors that go in certain directions, and you have to figure out how to get around. And the getting around is the interesting thing. The not so interesting thing is that there isn't very much variety in the enemy types, and although the voice work is great, the characters aren't really all that interesting, and then the battle mechanics aren't as engaging as Persona 4 Golden's. Right. So, the writing is shallow. There isn't enough going on outside of the dungeons to hold my attention. So, although I've played somewhere between 15 and 20 hours at this point, I'm probably not going to keep playing it just because, like, I don't see the point. I'm not seeing, like, after 15 to 20 hours, if all I'm saying is the dungeons are kind of cool, they've got like a cool kind of layout, but that's like the only thing. But actually fighting critters in the dungeons is not fun, and then the storyline is not fun, and the characters are not fun, then it's not worth my time. Like, decent voice acting, decent music, it's got some decent designs and things like that, but like it doesn't have enough to keep me engaging with it. I put in some time on it, and I think I'm done.
I mean,
it triggered, however, an itch for dungeon crawlers. So if I can tolerate sitting in my office, which is dubious because of the air temperatures right now,
right?
I will probably boot up Legend of Grimrock 2. But then again, I say that I may not do that whatsoever.
Right.
Unless there's like a mobile dungeon crawler that you can tell me about that I can go pick up that would make me excited.
I think Grimrock is on mobile.
Oh, is it? Okay, well, I'll have to look. But the problem is that it's hard for me to justify buying it when I have it on Steam.
Exactly.
Yeah, mobile when I have it on Steam. Even though I'm not going to go out to my building to play it, I still don't want to buy it twice. So anyway, I don't know. Anyway, I'm also considering looping back to Hakuoki because I do have a Hakuoki installment to play. That Hakuoki is another one of my favorite visual novels. Mm-hmm. So I have not played the game that is sitting on my Vita right now. Yeah. So I might just play that since I have my Vita out.
Hakuoki is the Otome one, right? The one that's more focused on romance stuff?
Oh, yeah. But remember, that's the one with all the blood and guts and gore and terrible things that happen. And you're like, wait, this is supposed to be like an Otome game, right? And I'm like, well, it is. Except also the first time I played it, I died alone and sad, and everybody else died, and it was terrible. And there's all
some people are into that.
Yeah,
there's all these references and like crazy other things going on, and it's like it's a very cool story that has a lot of crazy things that happen in it. It's semi based on actual history, but then also with, fantasy. It's like a fantasy retelling of it. Yeah. And it's really cool, and it's really engaging and really fun, and I really like it. So how many more times can I say really?
I mean...
Before it loses all meaning, just like Picross.
I'm not going to give you shit for that.
Really, Picross.
Picross.
Really, Picross.
Really,
come on.
Picross. Come on. Really,
Picross.
Yes. No, like, I don't see any reason, like, if you're not liking the characters or the story of a game that has a visual novel component to it, drop that. Like, what are the reason? Why else are you there?
Well, I mean, like, I waited long enough to go through the opening section and to go through the first couple of dungeons. I am on the third large dungeon at this juncture. I have found several different characters and done a bunch of little side story quests and stuff. And just like, I put in some time. I got to know the characters a decent amount, and I'm just not. It's just not keeping my attention well enough. Like it's like a subpar version, mishmash of like several other things that worked well in different games, except they don't work as well here, mishmashed together. That's kind of what I thought when I played Tomb Raider. Remember when I did that? And I was like, the remake, I was like, it's not that this game is bad. Like, although Tomb Raider was much more interesting. So the people who like Tomb Raider don't get mad at me. Like, that game was more interesting. However, it's still like a mishmash of a bunch of different types of games that I think work better in those other games than they do in Tomb Raider. Like, Tomb Raider is serviceable, and it's really more about, like, I guess the story or the fact that it has so many different elements from different games. Yeah. And that's how that works for people. But
see, I thought Tomb Raider was about the booby lady.
She's not nearly as boobylicious as this lady from this Mine Zero, or your chibi 3D booby wife.
Yeah, Corpse Party. Yeah.
From
Jala,
Corpse Party.
You need to make a spectrum of booby ladies so that I can understand this concept.
I am all about the boobies, apparently, so we can talk about that.
Oh, jeez.
So anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's the thing.
Cool.
The booby lady could not get me through this game. I'm sorry.
Not enough gravitational pull. Well, because you alluded to something that I played, I'm going to do mine here first. Sure. All right, this is all I'm going to talk about. Recently for Hexcrank Live, I streamed a game called White Day, a labyrinth named School.
Did you finish it?
Yes, I finished it last night.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Then I don't have to watch
How
you
many
play it
cheers did
anymore.
it take?
Actually, I didn't really drink while I was doing this one. Maybe that would have helped. It made me want to drink, but I didn't. That there were parts of it where my only comment about the music or soundtrack was it makes me feel like I'm hungover even though I haven't drank in a week. So what this is, kind of biographics, this is a Korean survival horror game that is heavily based on stealth. It is actually a remake of a game that was initially put out as an indie title by the small Korean developer back in 2001, I believe. And the reason I picked this up was it was like suggested to me on Amazon. I was like, hey, you buy all this horror stuff, check this out. I had no idea. I was like, I am willing to bet $30 on this based on what I see here. Right?
And the house won.
So the concept is you are this young man, a high school student who sneaks into his school to leave a box of chocolates for a girl you got a fancy for, so somebody you have a crush on. But as you sneak into the school, you find that you are trapped in the school with a bunch of other people. And it is haunted and nobody can get out. And there are janitors roaming the hallways who will chase you down and beat you to a pulp with their baseball bats.
And will whistle at you.
Yes, and will whistle at you to the point where if a note in the soundtrack played like that was the exact same note that as happened with the whistle, I would like tense up, like the hairs of my arms would stand.
I love the idea that apparently the primary tool of a janitor in Korea is a baseball bat.
Yeah, well, so they're canonically janitors, but for all the walking around they do, you would think they would have a mop in front of them, or one of those big old push brooms.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. This game is not very good. And no, it's not. So when I say it's stealth, think something along the lines of like Amnesia, where it is pursuit based, and the entire game is really about, at least mechanically, is about getting around and reading notes and solving puzzles without being seen, or if you are seen, running away from an enemy and attempting to shake their tail or shake their trail. Right? I absolutely should have started this up on normal. Or on easy, because normal is way too difficult. The janitors can see you from basically all the way across the school. They have no leash, so they will chase you all the way around the school. And so what happens is you're trying your hardest to go from classroom to classroom. You'll hear the whistle go, and then, well, I guess I have to run back to the bathroom for the 17th time in this past half hour and wait for them to pass. It is just not tuned for humans to play.
Yeah.
And I was only playing on normal. I cannot imagine what this would be like on hellish difficulty, right? Or hell difficulty, which is the highest one. The story it does not make any sense as presented. So when they updated it, they basically stripped a bunch of things. I was only able to really discover what was happening after the fact, beyond just, oh, the school is haunted, spirits are trapped here, bad things happen. I wasn't able to really discern like what purpose the characters served until I went on the wiki, which is written by somebody for whom English is not their first language. And like read a bunch of synopses and discovered that like there was a bunch of context present in even the fan translation of the original version of this that was just stripped out in this remake. That was mostly just a visual updating as opposed to even something that would make the game more friendly to play. Right. And the design the poor design even extends beyond just like, oh, the stealth is tuned badly. There's an example of this that I can give. It's a late game example, but it's without context and nobody's going to play this game, so it's fine. But to tell you like the unrealistic expectation that this game places on you, there's a scene where a woman is chasing after you with a knife. You have to discern that you have to run all the way to the top of the school to a circuit breaker and flip a switch to turn on the security alarm, because that will cause her to go crazy and fall off of the balcony. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that. That's
of course.
That's just school stuff. Yeah.
That's ultimately
a
what
sparrow
happens.
with a machine gun.
So the only way you would actually know to do this is to look at a walkthrough, which I did, or remember a diary or like a memo you found 2 buildings ago that talks about a woman who walks around the school who has an adverse reaction to the security alarm. Okay. So like if you figured out how to do this, the problem is by default that circuit breaker, like the fuse is not in the position that you need it to be, and when you approach that breaker you can't actually switch the fuse over. So what you have to do is you have to know that this encounter is coming up, switch the fuse ahead of time away from the position that you had it in before to solve the puzzle that you needed to get through the level. You just basically have to know, like, okay, I need to switch this over before I try to walk through this door. Otherwise, when my character runs away from the lady with the knife up to the circuit breaker, I'm going to get an instant death because she will stab me because I try and flip the security alarm, but there's no fuse, so I cannot continue. So you reload. The checkpointing is very hostile. So you reload. You are spotted by the janitor. You have to run across the school, hide in a toilet, wait for him to go, work your way back to the door. Get spotted again. Run, hide behind a desk. Nope, he saw you this time, because every once in a while he just sees you. Get damaged, lose all of your health items, restart, get spotted again, then get to the door, then run up. It was very frustrating.
When you say it's hostile, it makes me think like they'll just reset you further and further back every time you fail.
Yep.
Right. Well, and then too, like, just watching the game, I was trying to do something else while doing it, but the sound effects were so grating that I just was like irritated just hearing it. So
yeah.
Like between the whistles and then the screeching ghost lady, and then like especially when you were at that part, Cole, with the speakers in the room, I don't even know what the hell that was all about.
Oh yeah, that boss
I was
fight?
just like,
yeah.
I'm about to just like turn this off. No offense, Cole, because I can't take this the sound. Oh my god. Like,
yeah. So like for me, just kind of like people were asking like, oh my god, why are you still playing this? Like, I want to beat the games that I set out to play, right? Notwithstanding something bad like that, when I did the Red Dead Redemption expansion, the Undead Nightmare, where stuff just stopped working and it wasn't possible to patch it because I was on PS3. Like, I want to finish every game that I set out to play. I want, I feel like I am a patient person. But there were times like this game took longer for me to beat because I got so frustrated that it's like, I will get nothing more out of trying to beat through this. So I'll be back later, guys, or I'll be back tomorrow because I cannot play this anymore.
yeah. And I just, no, I don't know. I do not have that amount of patience, and I do not have that amount of excitement about finishing a game if it is crap. So, Like,
yeah.
there are times where you have asked me why I continue to play a game when it makes me mad, but the thing is, if I get mad at it, then that means I have a reaction to it, which is a lot more than what I've been doing with some of these, some of these other, like, I will get mad at Corpse Party if I continue at this juncture. I like Corpse Party, but I'm mad at it because of the decisions that they have made at this point in the game. I want to finish that game even though it makes me mad because there are elements that I enjoy that I wish to see play out, and I want to see what happens in the story. Therefore, I will continue that game. However, Mine Zero, I don't have any emotional attachment to it, and so I have nothing to say other than I'm gonna just stop playing it now.
Yeah.
Just because reasons. It's just not catching me. So, like, your determination to finish this game when, like, you're getting mad at it, but you're getting mad at it because it's like frustrating and irritating and you keep banging your head against it. Like, what are the good elements to this game? Are there good elements to this game that are making you want to finish this? Or is it just because I'm going to do it because I said I was going to do it?
I mean, yeah, like the last one is definitely more of it. Like,
Okay.
I mean, in a way, and I know that this is dumb. You know, it's a sunk cost fallacy or a flavor of that. But like, you know, hope springs eternal, and maybe when I turn the corner, something cool and interesting is going to happen, right? Like, especially with horror games, you know, exceedingly few of them are mechanically competent in such a way that you would say, yes, this is unmitigated joy in my hands, right?
Yeah.
You know, so for, you know, I'm basically like, I would not have finished that if I was not streaming, but like there was enough of a sense of mystery to what was present there, and I had so little idea of what was going on that I wanted answers. And I wanted answers to questions that were not, what the fuck do you think you're doing, video game?
Most of the horror is in the playing.
Yeah. You know, and like I enjoyed reading the stuff on the wiki. There are cool little storylets and things like that, but you know, that just wasn't present in the...
It might be one of those situations where it's better to read about it or watch someone else play it than it is for you to do it yourself.
Yeah. So, you know,
I'm sure someone has perfected going through this game,
yeah.
and you can go watch them on YouTube.
As I was playing it, I definitely got a better sense for like how to wrangle and, you know, manage the janitors, right? Like there were rules that were discernible. It just was not, it never reached the point where it was like, oh, I have a total handle on this and can make the game fun to play at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So White Day, a Labyrinth named school, is not a very good video game. I very much wanted to enjoy it. You know, even for as weird and superficial of a reason as like, oh, I never really play a Korean game, and I'm interested to see what a Korean approach to horror would be. But this just did not land and was not a good representative of anything. So
we will never know what happens to So Young.
She died in the Labyrinth. So
okay.
in my ending. So yay.
Okay. Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
But she was so young.
Oh, you beat me to it.
Oh, jeez. So that's what's going on.
Does this establish you as second on the persistence scale to Dennis?
Maybe.
All right.
Dennis definitely, he sets his mind about like platinuming stuff, and I would not do that. So yeah. Everybody can make their own decision about that.
I'm always a wild card because every once in a while I'll just like 100% shit for no reason.
Yeah, you push through.
Yeah, her story. Yes, we can talk about that. Where you almost made me just like lose my temper and flip a table because you wouldn't drop. Like, why are you doing this?
But why?
Because I want to. Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez.
So my name is Mayo and White Day are not recommended. Oh,
No.
Neither is mine Zero. So we got a lot of duds this time. Somebody
Yeah.
else
If
tell me about
anything's
something
a little
good.
too white, you might be worried.
Hey,
The
it's
Lighthouse
that,
episode.
Hey, we're wrapping back around to that Nazi guy you had, in, with the. All right.
Oh, Ben, I want to hear what you've been playing.
Yeah, I only got a small one this week. I got a new game called Epistory. Is recommended from a friend. It's like a typing game. It's kind of weird.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody gave me that. So, yeah, I should probably play that too.
Yeah, so like the premise of it is you walk around, you're a lady on a fox, and you just ride around on the fox, and then occasionally you fight things, and when you do fight them, you have to type out words to defeat them. So it'll like random words will spawn above their head, and you have to type it out, and it'll register when you type it out, and then it has like kind of like a meter building system where it'll figure out if you mistype something, and also it'll give you a score on how quickly you type it. So it's kind of like a weird core mechanic of what you're doing. I've only played like an hour of it. It has like pretty common like video game tropes where there's areas that are, it's like kind of like a Metroid where there's areas that are locked at the beginning that you kind of pass by, but you soon learn new skills that get you to explore other parts of the map.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really know how to feel about it yet. It was on sale. It's only $6 on Steam. So if you're looking for a deal, at least it's priced reasonably compared to its normal price. But I don't know how I feel about it yet. It just seems like a weird mechanic that doesn't really go together, like the typing and killing things. So I don't really see how that fits in yet. But I imagine that there's probably more of like there's kind of like a storytelling trope of it where as you like explore the map, there's like a narrator that talks about the girl. But Yeah, it's weird.
So it sounds like the action RPG version of Typing of the Dead.
Sure, yeah, and and you explore it kind of like on a top-down, like kind of isometric view.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like a 3D polygonal isometric. Do you control your character with the mouse? This is so petty. I could see myself getting frustrated going back and forth between the mouse and the keyboard at a gameplay pace.
So this was actually a pretty cool decision that they did. Is the movement controls? You can do WASD if you want, but they made an alternate like navigation control. If you use, I think it's E, F, and J, I on your keyboard. You can use that to move, but it's not like, instead of moving up, down, right, left, you're moving in the diagonal directions. Okay. When you combine two of them, you'll move in the regular, like, WASD directions.
Oh, okay.
But they did that so that you never have to move your fingers. You can always, like, you can switch in and out of the typing mode really quickly.
You stay on the home row.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like this was a miss. It could have been doing the Vim controls.
What are the Vim controls?
Like H, J, K, and L for like Vim text editor.
Okay.
Okay. But
you're a programmer.
Not like, I know.
but you use Emacs, right?
I do not use Emacs,
okay.
But anyway. No, okay, sorry. I was just making sure it wasn't like a Dvorak sort of thing, or
no.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a kind of weird game. I'll probably keep playing it for maybe another hour or two, but I am slowly losing interest in it.
Yeah,
but yeah,
so many duds. Oh my god.
I know. Lighthouse episode.
Wait, can you elucidate what lighthouse means?
Stay away.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I had no idea that this exists, but I want more typing games, so I may actually. Who am I kidding? Nope, not gonna check it out. It's good to know it exists, though.
Yeah. So other than this, one thing that was kind of fun is not 100% board games, but I did streams of Magic over the weekend. So I have a beta key for Magic Arena. I think I've talked about this. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like their version of Hearthstone, essentially, but with Magic. They've been doing weekend drafts where you draft against computers. So like there's no time limit or anything. You're not playing against humans or whatever, but you draft like a 40-card deck, and then you play against other people in a tournament. You play against other humans, but it's like the way it works is you only play another person in a single match, and whoever wins, and then you face a new person, which is different than in paper. You usually do like best of 3. But you play until you either get 7 wins with the deck or 3 losses with the deck, whichever comes first. And then you get kind of paid out based on how many wins you have. So I streamed that over the weekend, and Dennis stopped by for a little bit and talked, and I kind of talked about like what I was doing with the drafting. But the set that they had this weekend, since they've been like rotating through them, is the current set, which is Dominaria. So that was fun to draft. So I think maybe 2 or 3 of the times I went 7 wins before doing the 3 losses. So it was fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, now I'm just wondering if deep learning could master Magic the Gathering.
I think they're trying to do it for alternate things. They're trying to use machine learning for the mana tapping ability in the game. So like you just show them what cards are available, and it trying to figure out what's the best way to tap mana. Yeah. But Magic Arena, if they've implemented that, is not a good feature of it, because that's like a constant source of infuriation. Yeah, I don't know. I've lost like several games because of how it automatically taps mana.
But, so you can't manually tap it?
No, you can, but it's a lot more cumbersome. Like you have to like tap each individual like mana, and then when you cast a card, you have to tap the individual mana that's in your mana pool to pay for it. And so it's just like a lot slower and more cumbersome of a process. So it's like one of those things where it's like 99% of the time that automatic tapping is fine, but it's just like there's a few instances where it'll mistap things, and then like you're not able to cast like your second spell after you cast your first one, and then that can cost you the game or something like that.
What a dumb thing to get sloppy on.
But at the same time, it is a very hard problem for them to solve, since there's like so many, but yeah, whatever.
David, round us out.
Sure. So I picked up a game. The fellow who does headed the studio that made Fallen London and Sunless Sea broke off to found his own studio and released a game called Cultist Simulator.
I want to hear about this. I've been reading very good things.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's
so-
on my list of stuff. Didn't I talk about it before? On a brief?
I
Did you
believe
play
so. Yeah.
Did you play
Yes,
it?
I did play it.
Yay! Tell me.
So it's interesting. It's, I guess, a card game overall, but it's in a lot of ways, effectively from a gameplay standpoint, it's kind of like a what do they call them? Like the time management games, like resource application and stuff like that. So each of your actions, which sometimes vary depending on what exactly is going on, but usually is like dream, work, study, and explore. You basically dedicate one of your cards towards that event. So that would be like, say if you have a card that represents a piece of occult lore, and you dedicate that to dreaming, then your character is going to kind of have this lucid dream about that's kind of investigating into this piece of lore. Or maybe for the work, maybe on the one hand you could either devote the card that represents your job to make money, or you could devote, say, like your passion stat in order to like paint a picture. But then once you do this, everything is a timer. So like most actions take 60 seconds to complete, although it does vary somewhat, and they're all running down together in real time. So it ends up being kind of a combination of, efficiently, dedicating your resources to these different events and, juggling, for example, there might be a scenario where, like, say I have a injury, and so, after the injury event, my health card might have like a 3-minute timer on it, and I have to, within that 3 minutes, basically play it to my dreaming card in order to represent like sleeping and taking time to rest and heal. But I might already be in the middle of a dream, so it's a lot of like juggling these different requirements.
It's like a real-time card strategy game.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So ultimately your goal is to found a cult, recruit members, and then investigate various arcane sites for like artifacts, perform rituals, and ultimately gain enough mysterious power in order to accomplish some goal. And there's several different paths. I believe there's currently like 3 different cults you can establish. And maybe a couple different goals. I'm still fairly early on, so I'm still figuring it out. But like, for example, my cult is established. It worships like the Mother of Wounds, which is associated with the aspect of knock, which is basically revolves around like opening doors and uncovering secrets.
Okay.
So it's all just super cryptic. It's to kind of crib something from the Polygon review. It's interesting because it's Lovecraftian, but it's much more the kind of dream cycle version of Lovecraft, as opposed to like the tentacles and fungus side of Lovecraft. Another kind of interesting thing is it's kind of somewhat roguelike. So you can. I know so far you can die, die from injuries. You can starve to death. You can go insane, and you can if your actions are uncovered, you can be sent to jail. And so it's kind of a roguelike, but then the way it does persistence is your next character is somehow related to your first one. So like the current character I'm currently playing is the physician that treated my previous character in the asylum. And so that's what like ultimately opened his eyes to the existence of like this Lovecraftian lore.
Yeah, a lot of this has sounded a little bit like Reigns so far, but that explicitly sounds like it.
Like which?
Reigns, a game I've spoken about previously for iOS.
Yep.
So so it's really cool. It's got the same interesting, just weird weird way of kind of presenting these concepts. Does a lot of playing with a combination of like a lot of name dropping of the various forces and books and characters, and then also does a lot of playing with kind of grammar in terms of doing things like using words for abstract concepts as though they were like perfect nouns, as though they were names, in order to kind of like indirectly hint at the events that are going on. Does that make sense? So it's really really good. It's unfortunately can be fairly opaque. In particular, I'm not sure how many, I'd say like at least 6 or 7 different arcane forces or whatever. And so when you want to perform a ritual, you basically have to determine the combination of these forces that are going to give you the result you want.
Yeah.
So and that can also determine depend on who do you use as the subject of your ritual. So are you using a dead body or are you using a person? Things like that.
Yeah. Well, that seems very, I was about to say like a good simulation of being a cultist, but that's exactly what this is. That seems very appropriate because a cultist, how many times in movies or books is we attempted, we thought we knew what this knowledge would be, but we pulled for the wrong thing and it went horribly wrong. And that's how we died, or that's how, this disaster happened that, and then you learn from it. Right.
Right. And it's very much, kind of has the traditional tongue in cheek in that, you can very blatantly, if something goes wrong, you can very overtly just sacrifice some of your followers, that's the final check if the police are closing in on you is you can just basically frame one of your followers.
Yeah, I always like how this thing has a sense of humor. It's kind of cheeky. What that almost always means is, life is valueless.
Yeah, one of the the flavor text for the work event is an arrangement to trade life for money.
Okay. Nice.
So yeah, definitely kind of has a bit of a sarcastic bent.
Cool. No, this game looks great. Visually, I think it's really interesting too to have it be a card-based motif, but still render it in 3D like that.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a mixed feelings because, like, on the one hand, and again, this is kind of steal from like the sentiment put forward in the Polygon review.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much tries to sort of have a tactile like connection between the gameplay and the subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
So you very quickly are just getting dozens of different cards and stuff, and there's no like them automatically going to a place. They're just laid wherever you happen to put them on the like game board.
Mm-hmm.
And so it very quickly becomes this sort of like, I don't know, like pseudo tarot style thing where you just have this mass of cards that you've maybe vaguely at one point organized, but mostly you just kind of mentally know where everything is.
See, that to me sounds like heaven, to keep those things straight in the in-game tabletop.
Mm-hmm.
Just to have the ability to sort stuff out myself sounds very appealing.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I have a little bit of mixed feelings just because, it does definitely slow down gameplay. And I should say, with the timers, you can pause, so it's not like the XCOM board game or something like that where it like really puts the screws to you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
nice.
So as the trademark, like you can straight up make incredibly bad choices. My first playthrough, just to experiment, the detective that was after me, I proceeded to like initiate a conversation with him, and when it got to like should the subject be, I went with the corpse that I had locked in the closet of my headquarters. And as you might guess, that gave me the suspicion stat. So
possibly, yeah, they're trying to play it safe. They're just trying to be realistic.
Yeah.
No, this sounds really cool. Cultist Simulator.
Yep.
Oh, geez, Vampire comes out tomorrow. Shit.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Yay!
It's not about taking life, Cole. It's about saving life.
Yeah, that's the...
and bad spelling.
Vampire. Did you have anything else, David?
I think that's mostly it. I'm continuing on to with Darkwoods. I'm finishing up the first half of it. But for now, I think I'm kind of gonna punt until I have some idea of where this is all going.
Okay. Cool. Well, how does everybody feel about buttoning it up?
Buttons!
The credit.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this week's episode of The Level, 244, I believe it is. So, like I said earlier in the episode, probably a little bit of E3 stuff next week, but because we're recording in the middle of the Sony thing, we're going to have belated takes, which is not bad. Not a bad thing to have.
Lukewarm takes.
I'm just just a chance to let stuff digest before like, oh, this is a thing that happened. So just understand what to expect next time. Other than that, the normal things that you can do. Most of all, we want you to tell your friends if you think that they are going to like this, and come back next week if you can. Am I forgetting anything beyond the specifics that I specifically decided to gloss over?
Specifically? I don't think so.
Okay.
I feel like you're underselling, though. Next week is your ideal week in that it's an entire week that justifies Cole talks about a thing that's coming out.
He's
This
gonna
is
be like
true.
gonna be like a pig in shit. So I've been Cole Ross at Cole Ross on Twitter.
I've been David Maismith on the level.
It's a reporter sign off.
Right. I'm Jala-chan in places.
I'm Ben Merkel at Merkleby on Twitch.
Yeah, I'm sticking around for some titles. I'm going to lobby hard for a Lighthouse episode, which is one of the ones that I have on here. But I will be, I can be convinced otherwise. The other two that I have are Attaboy and So Many Duds.
I have a lot of title potentials, but some of them are really long.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Move to the mountains, grow your own corn. A reference to people being terrible.
Right.
Neither early nor late, Jala plays games exactly when she wants to. The Nicolas Cage of game publishing. Really Picross. And The House One. That's the title, and The House One. And then that's it.
One moment. Of the Nicolas Cage of game publishers. The House One, and what was the one that I missed?
Really Picross.
Really Picross.
How could you miss that? Teflon of the Teflon?
No, just because I was typing and I was only halfway.
Yeah.
I was only halfway here.
I was not being serious.
Yeah. Ben, what do you have?
I have Vita throwing level to describe the level at which you want to throw your Vita, and I have Doom look under your chair.
Okay.
There's no overlap today.
None at all. Oh my gosh. Is that all, Ben?
Yep.
David, save us.
I didn't have anything.
Betrayed.
So
Well-
I'm going for just an empty
He gave
string.
us a positive game review though, so he's done his job for this week's episode.
He made his contribution. That's fine. Even though I made a case for a Lighthouse episode, I do like Move to the Mountains and Grow Your Own Corn.
That thing that you said.
Okay, yeah. Shit. I forgot.
I'm just giving you some crap. Yeah, I know. No. It's fine.
Are you guys okay with that?
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay. Cool. Well, somebody's doorbell just rang.
It wasn't mine. I don't have a doorbell on my house.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm going to go to bed. One of my goals for this week is to renormalize my sleep schedule. So
I don't know if I'm going to renormalize my sleep schedule or my sleep schedule.
yeah, it's my
I
skee ball
just,
schedule.
Never have a sleep schedule, so I never have that problem.
Yeah.
Simplification.
Yeah. Simplify, man. Cool. Thank you, everybody.
All right, see you guys.
Peace,
Have
y'all.
a good week.
Have a good week.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.